Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Today we will be covering variables and data types. And variables and data types are something which is a fundamental of programming. So it doesn't matter if it's Python or another programming language. It might be little bit boring at first and you might not know what it specifically is, but we'll go over that into the next videos. So please make sure you really know what's going on. You don't have to know everything already. You just need to know what data types and variables are for now, and later on we will incorporate them in other code. So let's go over to our desktop. So once we are at a desktop environment, we want to have a proper coding environment. So the first thing that we are going to do is I've put up a GitHub repository with some exercises which you can do. So if we click on data types and variables, you can see exercises, data types, and variables. So I've set up some exercises for this course. For each video, I will make separate exercises. So I will now show you how you can set this up on your own computer and keep refreshing the code so you can each time make the new exercises. So what I'm going to do is click on the exercises, data types, and variables.ipynb. And I can see here that there are some exercises which are available for you guys to do. So after you're done with this video, please make the exercises. I think a practical view of coding is the best way to learn something. So if you practice your code, it's the best way to actually learn how to write code. So let's get back to the Python fundamental course. I will also put this link from the GitHub in the repository, in the description, And what we want to do now is we want to actually download this code. So we want to click download zip. I've already done it. So over here you can see Python fundamentals.zip. So I'm putting this in the side now, and I'm going to open a folder on documents. So if I go, normally you have this PC, and I click on documents. So this is the place where I want my future code to be stored, or my code now. So I'm going to drag my Python fundamentals to my documents. Make sure you also have installed WinRAR. If you have not done so, I'll also put a download link in the description for WinRAR, so you can also extract your folder. So what I'm going to click now is extract here. So as you can see, the Python fundamental course is now on my PC. I can delete this other file. And what I'm going to do now is like the same thing that we did in the first video, is type in cmd. So we open our command prompt and start up Jupyter Notebook by typing it in the command prompt. So now, as you can see, we get an environment of Jupyter Notebook. And what you are seeing right now are all the files and directories which are stored on my computer. But I stored the specific Python repository in my documents folder. So I'm going to navigate to my documents. And you can see that I have the Python fundamental course over here. So I'm going to click that one. You can see it has successfully installed the data types and variables. So over here you can see that I can go to the exercises and to the solutions. So for now I'm going to start a new file, so a new notebook from Python 3. And today we will be discussing what variables are and what data types are. So before we are going to discuss that variables and data types, I want to show you some cool things you can do in Python, which is already built in. So for example, you can do some basic mathematical operations like 5 plus 5 or 10 minus 2. So you can see basic mathematics works within Python. And we can also assign that to a variable. So we want to assign 5 to x. So we can say x equals to 5. And I'm running these cells by pressing Shift Enter. So if you want to run one of these cells, so this thing over here is called a cell. If I want to run it, I'm going to press Shift Enter. So I have x equals 5 and y equals 3. So I can now print out x plus y. And this will give me the result, which is 8. You can also multiply those values, so x times y. So there are different ways you can do basic mathematics operations on this. So what you've seen here, all these numbers, 5, 2, 10, has a data type assigned to it. So we can check the data type of this by pressing in type of x. So x is 5, so we can check what the type is. And it's going to say int. What does that mean? So within Python, we have a few different data types. You need to know these really well because those are the base fundamentals of Python. So we have a few different data types. So one of the data types is called an integer. And what an integer is just whole numbers. So for example, 3, 5, 10, 11. So everything what we use so far is called an integer. Another data type we have is called a float number. And float numbers are all decimal numbers. So for example, 3.12 or 4.1 or 4.2. So you get the idea. So this is what a float point number is just every decimal number. So this is a standard in Python, and in almost every other programming language, it has the same concept. So just know this by heart. So it's really important that you get the base data types in your mind. So another one is called a string. And a string is basically a piece of text within quotes. So everything that is inside of quotes, so for example, hello world, this is what's called a string. So we can also check this out by, for example, press type 3 and print the type of 3.12, we'll say in float, and the type of hello world. Don't forget the quotes because this is the sign that this is indeed a string. Otherwise, it will give you an error. You say it's seeing it, you see it's saying string. And there is something tricky about this. So what we can also do is mix up strings and integers. So what will this look like? So for example, I say 5 plus 5. This will, of course, result into 10. But what if I'm going to say 5 plus 5 as a string? So I put it within quotes. So now it changed the data type of this 5 to an actual string. And this will throw me an error because we cannot do operands between integers and strings. So if I'm going to say 5 as a string plus 5 as a string, this will result into 55 because it's going to append this piece of the string to this piece of the number. And this is just the basic operand types. I will show you one more thing, which is called a power of operator. So we can say 5 to the power of 2, which is going to result into 25. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. In the next video, we will go over Boolean, if and else statements, and we will also give you more homework exercises. Please make sure you do the practical exercises because this is where you actually are going to learn. You'll probably get a lot of these errors. Try to fix them. If you cannot solve them, just try to look it up onto Google, what the error is, and try to make the exercise as good as possible. And if you cannot figure it out, just look at the solutions. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you.